Hey everyone, John Piniella here and welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Guitar Just Because We Love It. Well, today's video I want to talk to you about my beautiful 1975 Martin D28. Now some would say that the D28 is probably the most legendary guitar that Martin's ever made, and that is subject to one's opinion. I think, for me, it's one of the more famous guitars that Martin has ever made. Is it the most legendary? I don't know. That's for someone else to decide. But what I can say, it's an amazing sounding guitar. These guitars, it's such a beautiful blend. The high end is beautiful, the low end is beautiful, and the mid-range, which is really legendary in terms of its tone, is amazing. This is a beautifully made instrument, solid rosewood back and sides, a spruce top, obviously. You can see, the beautiful grain on this guitar. This thing is just awesome. So, a little bit of a story to the instrument, which I'll share with you, like I have with other videos I've made on some of the other guitars I have in my collection. So let's kind of turn back the clock to, the late 1960s. Well, you know what? Back then, the first acoustic guitar that I bought ever with my own money was a Gibson Blue Ridge. And it's a beautiful guitar. I still own that guitar and I use it as my Nashville tuning instrument. It's great. But I had my sights set on a Martin D28 even when I bought that Blue Ridge. And I just thought to myself, I'm going to keep saving my money, and one day I'm going to get my hands on one. So 1975 comes around. I've saved enough money to go out and buy myself a D28. So I'll never forget it. It's like it happened this morning. I remember getting in my car and there I am driving into New York City. I wanted to go to 48th Street Music in Manhattan because they were a large Martin dealer at the time, and I figured they'd have a pretty good selection of D28s. Now 48th Street Music isn't even there anymore, but what I do remember about 48th Street back then, all the cool music stores were there. You had Manny's across the street with Sam Ash, and so many other guitars. Rudy's is still there. It was awesome. So I went into 48th Street Music, and I remember just asking if they could show me, all the D28s that they had in stock. And I don't remember how many. Maybe they had 4. I don't recall. But what I do recall vividly is of the 4 or 5 that they had, the only one that had this beautiful sunburst finish was this one. The others were the traditional natural spruce finish top. And they were awesome too. But the truth is, this guitar could have been purple for all I cared. To my ears of the ones that I played that day, this guitar sounded the best, which is why I bought it. I didn't buy it because of the finish, which was unique back then for Martin. I just bought it because, again, I thought it sounded the best of the ones that I played. Now, you fast forward to 2022, and you're going to see sunburst finish Martins for sure, but you're still going to see way more of the natural spruce finish than you are of this finish. So it's kind of a cool finish. It's a little unique and different. But at the end of the day, it's all about the way this thing sounds. This guitar is just killer. Now, I've had to do a couple things to it over the years, all due to age. Like anything else, you got a guitar that's over 30 years old, things start to, require some maintenance. So the first thing that happened was I noticed at some point that the action was really getting unbearably high. And what happened was the neck began to shift after all these years. And what it needed was what's known as a neck reset. Now that's easier said than done because these necks are completely glued into the body. So you need to find someone who knows what the heck they're doing, who can safely remove the neck. They have to shave the heel, right? Fix the angle a little bit and then reattach the neck. The guitar then has to be refretted. And at that point you should be good to go. So I took the guitar to my good friend Jimmy Soma of Somatone Amplification. I've mentioned him a few times here on this channel. And Jimmy is an incredible guitar tech. But when I took this guitar to Jimmy, he said, John, I'm not going to touch this thing. You need someone who really does this specific kind of stuff. And I know just the guy. And he recommended a guy named Izzy Lugo, who was in New York City. So I brought the guitar to Izzy Lugo. And Izzy had this guitar for several months. And he told me it was going to be a while because he had others to be repaired that were ahead of mine. But when I got the guitar back, I was stunned. I couldn't find a glue mark, any dried glue anywhere. I don't know how he did it. It looked like the neck was never removed. So the neck was reset, the heel was shaved, so it was perfect again in terms of the action, playability. The refret job that Izzy did was unbelievable. It was absolutely perfect. And I was just so happy. And you know, I can't say enough to Jimmy Soma all these years later for recommending Izzy to do this neck reset, you know, on this wonderful instrument. Now, the only other two things I had done to it was, because of the years that flew by, the glue will start to shrink and as it dries up on the instrument. So the glue shrank underneath the pickguard, which caused it to curl, and it shrunk under a bunch of the binding right here on the guitar. And then the binding comes loose. So for that, I took the guitar to Mark Simon, another really wonderful luthier and a real expert on Martin guitars here in New Jersey. And so what Mark did was he cut me a brand new pickguard and glued it, as you can see here, and he re-glued all the binding where it had come loose. And again, it was like the guitar was never touched. So other than that, this guitar is as it was the day that I bought it, and I just love it dearly. It has a beautiful tone. You know, it's that interesting, the high end isn't really brittle. There's a lot of bottom end to it, but it's not boomy. And then that legendary mid-range that Martin, you know, dreadnoughts are known for is very prevalent, but it's not too much mid-range, which personally for me drives me crazy. So anyway, that's a little bit about it, a little bit of the story on how I got it. I don't even remember what I paid for it, but I do remember it was a whole heck of a lot of money for me, especially back in 1975. So, you know what? Let's give it a listen, see what you think. So what'd you think, guys? How do you think this thing sounded? I think it sounds amazing. Listen, thanks so much for watching today. Just a couple of favors to ask. Please hit that like button. That'll help a whole heck of a lot. Please hit the subscribe button, and if you happen to subscribe, please hit the bell also. The bell will allow you to be notified when I put up a brand new video, and that's always a cool thing, I hope. But listen, once again, as I always like to say when I wrap this thing up, you know, what is it about the guitar? What is it about these things? Well, it's just because we love it, and I can't figure out what else it could be. Hey guys, thanks again for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.